Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. I'm going to be speaking tonight from the Persuasive Speaking Manual, and my speech has several different parts. First of all, I will take about 3 to 4 minutes to talk about the cold calling process. Then I will introduce my partner in crime, who will help me with a role play on cold calling. That will be about 5 to 7 minutes, and then there will be 2 to 3 minutes where we will discuss what we just did and ask for suggestions and feedback from the audience. As I was preparing for this, I thought cold calling is the one thing I absolutely hate to do. I've been in business 20 years now. It's my 20-year anniversary starting my business, my consulting business. And I built my business more on referrals because I hate cold calling. I hate rejection. And if you're going to be cold calling, you're going to have rejection. Don't want anything to do with it. Now, they also said you're supposed to talk about the process of cold calling. Well, I scoured the manual, and there wasn't any process of cold calling. I'm sort of on my own. I did some research, and from what I can figure out, is cold calling in sales is relationship building. Whether you're cold calling or warm calling or hot calling, it's building relationships. Now, a cold call, from what I understand, is someone that you really haven't met, you don't have a relationship with yet, but you have already identified this person as someone who might be a customer, who might need the product or service that you are offering. So that would be a cold call. So you pick up the phone, dial their number, or you walk in their office, or you happen to meet them somewhere, in a coffee shop, in Starbucks, and oh, there you are, sit down and you start a conversation. Those of you that are in sales probably know a lot more about that than I do. I think I'm on the right track. Once you engage that person, you don't walk up to them and say, hey, I've got a great product that you need to buy. That is not the process. It's getting to know this person, finding out, asking questions. Well, I do lots of interviews, so I figured I can ask lots of questions. But how do you get that? How do you want to buy my product in there? That's got to be something in that process that I haven't figured out yet. We're going to see how well this works. Once you have established and asked enough questions, you want to listen for the question where they have a need, where they finally say they have a need. And you have to be a very good listener so that when they have that need, you can jump in there and say, in a very innocuous way, I have the solution to that need. And then you can introduce your product and hopefully get them to the point where they're going to buy. So that is my version of the cold calling process. We will see how well it works. Now I'm going to introduce my partner here is Sherwin Prescott. So we're going to set the stage here. Sherwin is in his office, and he has, if you don't know, he has a parking lot striping business. And I just happened to be driving by, and I saw his truck out in the parking lot. So I'm thinking, this is a great time. I've got a great product and service that he really needs. So I'm going to just walk in and see if he's interested.
Come in.
Hey, Prescott, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, nice to see you. You have a few minutes?
I've got 5 to 7 minutes.
I got nothing. No, wait, I can sit. Wonderful. Do you mind if I sit down?
Sure, go ahead. Where was it we met?
We met at Starbucks last week. I think we just, in passing, I was having some coffee and you were with another person and we just sort of met. And he introduced you and I introduced, and there we were. Well, I remembered that you have a striping business for parking lots, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I saw your truck outside. I'd seen it in the parking lot out of Starbucks.
Did you like it? Did you think it looked good?
It looks great. Well, you know what I like about it is that it's got those bright colors on the side, and you know, no matter where you are, you can really see that, which is really important.
We spent a lot of time working on that.
Well, you know, it's working because I see it all over town. You know, it's funny, once I've seen it, now I see it all over the place. So
Well,
you must be doing a great job. Yeah, so how long have you been in business?
well, about 25 years. When I got out of school, I actually started while I was in school and just gradually built it up over the years, and added on services, and just try to see where it would go.
All right. Well, where do you think it's going now? Are you into, is this something new that you're doing, the striping business? Is this something you've always been doing?
No, I've been doing that for a long time. It's hard to tell in this economy. You know, it's really hard to know what's going to happen. You go out and you hunt for work and you try to find those customers and find jobs that you can make some money on.
You know, I can relate to that because, you know, I've got a consulting business, and it's one of the toughest things to do is to find customers. You know, it's really difficult, especially now, because, you know, everybody's online. Everybody's got a little device and they're all, you know, doing their thing. And how have you found, what's some of the ways that you have found best to find your customers?
I'm doing what you're doing. Just knocking on doors, talking to people, and trying to make connections, and see if I can find people that need what I have, and get an opportunity to give them a price if they need it.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of salespeople that go out and sell your business for you, or what? How do you?
I do all the sales.
You do it all yourself.
I do all the sales. That's really, if you think about it, the hardest job is out there finding the work. That's where it all starts, and it's not something that you want to just give to somebody that walks in the door. Nobody knows your business like you do. That's
true. You know, part of that, that's a big part of that, is having control over your message and your brand. So how do you know, have you cracked into the online market yet? You know, that seems to be the place to be. I know that's what everybody's telling me.
That's what they say, but I'm a technician. I know how to do my work. But I have a very difficult time feeling like I've got a hold on how to do all that marketing stuff. I mean, how many things can you be good at?
That's true. You know, leave it to the experts. It's really important to find something that will sort of do it for you. I mean, what if you could have 10 of you out there?
Well, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be great?
It would.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was looking for something for my business, and it, you know, it might not be for everybody, but seems to be that being online is the most important thing. Do you spend a lot of time online? You get a lot of emails?
Well, a lot of emails, especially from this club called Toastmasters.
That can be a pest.
But I do try to use the emails and do a lot of research online and trying to figure out who to talk to. You can actually go in and find out who the person in charge of maintenance is or something like that, which would be who we talk to a lot of times. And kind of zero in on what you need to be doing.
Have you bought things from an email online or something that kind of sparked your interest just by reading an email?
Not emails too much. You know, automatic filter goes into the junk, and sometimes I feel like a lot of the stuff I send out gets sent into other people's junk email. It's not a method that I've mastered.
Really?
No.
Yeah. You know, the bad part about that is I get a lot of emails too, and I'm not crazy about them, but sometimes I get something from people and they're not really trying to sell me something. What they're giving me is ideas about how I can grow my business, and I really found that to be a good way. Years ago, I had an email newsletter that I did, and I did it all myself, and it was amazing how much, just by sharing stories about how other clients, you know, I work with other clients, how it really brought in business. And now they have things that will actually do that for you. I mean, you can reach thousands and thousands of people just by putting together one newsletter, one email, and having it sent out to all kinds of people.
How do I zero in on the people that need what I have?
You know, a lot of times, and you know this because you've been in business for a long time, that a lot of people don't really know what they need, do they? I mean, how do your people know that they need stripes? They have to put this striping on their parking lots. Is it regulated? Is that a government?
Well, there's liability issues, and sometimes they wait that long. Sometimes you have management upstream that has a budget, and these things get done every so many years, and every set of customers is different. You've got to figure out their little Rubik's Cube that you got to figure.
Well, a lot of it is just education. You know? So education, if you're educating somebody instead of trying to sell them something, they're a little bit more open to that. So I have found something, and I'm going to try it. I've just started using it, and it's been amazing how much I've been able to reach a lot of customers because I'm just one person. It's called something called Constant Contact. You ever heard of that? It's, you know, I can put together the newsletter, because you know your business, right? You know what your business is all about.
Hopefully. Sometimes I wonder.
So it's easy for you to explain, to know your own business. You can write up just a short article about why somebody needs to put the striping, the liability issue.
Yeah.
Now, your customers would be thrilled to, some of them don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're providing them with information that can really help them. So by sending that out in an email, you can send it out to thousands of people instead of having to.
How does it get to them? I mean, how do I know? How do I get that list?
All right, this is perfect. How many customers? You have customers?
Sure.
Yeah, and you have prospects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have an email list. People that you're already contacts.
Yeah, I have a file for that.
That's where you start.
Okay.
You can start with 10. You can start with 20. You can start with 50.
And you just blanket send them.
You can send it out, yeah. And it's what they do is they will actually put your logo on there. They will put all of your information on there, so it goes out just from you.
So
And
this
send
is
it
the
out.
Constant Contact as a service that,
It's a
that they help
service.
you craft
Yes.
these emails.
They help. They've got wonderful service to help you do it, and it's only $15 a month to reach up to 500 customers.
That's cheaper than me driving around. That's
There you go.
for sure.
Well, you think you might be interested in that?
If it works, sure. But
Okay.
I'm willing to give that a try.
Wonderful. Okay, well, why don't we get together next week, and I'll bring you some information about it, and we'll talk about getting you set up.
Okay.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right. He's probably being nice to me. All right. What about the process? This is the last few minutes. I want some feedback from the floor. Well, let me ask you, Sherwin, first of all.
Okay.
I know you're going to be tough on me, but what did you think about the conversation that we had?
Well, I actually was genuinely interested in what you had to say, and I actually hope there is something that you haven't just made up, because I would. Because I'm
real.
always trying to find easier ways to get in touch with customers. So I actually am interested in that kind of thing.
There is something really called constant contact, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Absolutely. All right. Anyone else? What about the process, about how we interacted with each other, or what suggestions on what we could do better? I know there's some crack salespeople out there. I have like 1 minute. Yes.
Is it not overly bold to just show up unannounced to an office?
That's a cold call, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, that's the difficulty of it, and you have to learn ways to do it.
Yes.
Happens to us all the time.
Yes, sir.
You hang out at the coffee shop around here all day. Buy all the people.
But watch out when you go to Starbucks. If I'm there, shh, run out the door. I might end up selling you something. Yes.
I thought you made it look very easy. When you saw that he had the interest, you perked up and you hooked onto it immediately. And that was your avenue in, and I thought you made a great move there into it. You made it look easy at that point.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. And yes.
I was so impressed with how nice you were. I don't think there's any cold call there. Oh, come in.
I guess I could have just sent her away, and she would have been stuck for 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. He was very nice to me. It doesn't happen all the time. Any other comments? Yes.
At the end, you could have probably sold it right then and there instead of come back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I even had my little flyers here. I should have done that. Oh, could have signed him up. That's a good point. Yes.
Seems like the timing of the first stage of establishing the rapport, that's difficult, because you're dealing with somebody whose time is very short. Then it's incumbent to shorten that period of time so to get the rapport as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So that's a variable, but of course that has to be molded to the situation.
Okay. Well, thank you. I see the red cards. I'm going to close before I get disqualified. Thank you. Mr. Toastman.